What's going on, guys? Greek Freak here, and in this video we are going to be talking about, free agency rumors. I just wanted to get on this since the rumors are just going around that Kevin Durant may be leaving the Golden State Warriors. And I'm going to be talking about Kevin Durant to the New York Knicks as far as the situation here. Now, the direct reason why people are very much thinking teams like the Knicks are actually within option, of course, along with a chance of playing with an established player as far as Porzingis, but also the ability to play with a team that has cap space to add in more players around that. As we know, they have plenty of room, and now with the buyout of Joakim Noah's contract, they will have salary cap space for the next upcoming year in free agency in order to add players such as Kevin Durant and more. And with that, we really have to leave into question here. My main concern here with this, many people are believing that the New York Knicks is a real destination just due to the fact that Porzingis cap space and Kevin Durant can go there with an established, big market, with it being also the highest valued franchise in the NBA. As far as that's a really good situation right there, we do have to look at the main real concerns there, which are Kristaps Porzingis tearing an ACL last season. Will he come back and play this season? If not, will that go into a weighing of whether or not he'll be back as the same player? If he does come back, are we going to see the same player? And of course, one of the great situations that I feel like many people are talking about is the New York Knicks are definitely a team that's not going to be pursuing in for too many wins this year, so they will be having a good draft pick. If that draft pick is somebody very good or a high-end draft pick, as we all know, the lottery, you can end up with a number one overall pick. So with the possibility of that, you can end up with a top pick, especially considering the fact their record probably will not be too great. So a high draft pick, if Porzingis comes back, and then cap space as well, would be very interesting for a player such as Kevin Durant to go and be willing to play with. As we all know, Kevin Durant, being the great scorer that he is, obviously improving on the defensive end since he's been in Golden State, shows the fact that he can bring that to another team as well. And the real question is going to be whether Kristaps Porzingis will come back as the same player that he is. Obviously, we're not very well accustomed to 7-footers that were very athletic as Porzingis in the first place, especially coming off an injury like this, whether or not how that will affect him as far as his style of play for the next upcoming year. As we know, ACL injuries usually are a 2-year thing. We do, of course, though, see ACL injuries comebacks a lot more often than we did in past times, where before it was an a career-ending injury. Now we're seeing it as something that you usually, like I've stated before, a 2-year sort of bring back as far as your same level of productivity. Of course, not knowing how it really works for 7-foot players that are athletic like Porzingis, we won't know how that will affect him. But with that, of course, you would be talking about two great almost 7-foot players with long wingspans playing great in the front court, and then of course, depending on how or who the New York Knicks would be wanting to pursue with that additional cap space, could either add a great backcourt player or finish it off with most likely either a small forward or another, like I said, backcourt shooting guard or point guard, depending on it. And if not, they would probably establish trying to work on a deep bench, something like a situation that the Boston Celtics are with as far as what they were dealing with last year. We would definitely be wanting to see something in those terms if somebody like Durant would be trying to go there. And along with that, we have to really think about the additions to the team as well. How quickly it will work around, how the teams, of course, that we've seen established this year. Of course, we're seeing so much transition already happening as far as what happens. Will Kawhi Leonard stay with the Raptors? How will the Jimmy Butler thing go? Jimmy Butler could be a possibility to go to New York, depending on what happens with the Philadelphia 76ers. We also have to look at things such as Boston. Will Kyrie Irving stay? How the Boston Celtics are going to settle. So we really have to look at it with different things as far as how the pieces are going to look at in that free agency. So it's really going to be very interesting to see how these teams and how these players are going to be moving around in that direct year. Like I mentioned though, this is no guarantee that Kevin Durant will go to the New York Knicks. I'm definitely just wanted to state out the positives and the negatives, definitely being the fact of the injuries and of course things such as the draft picks and cap space that they will have, which are benefits. And we have to look at it as a situation of whether or not he'll be wanting to go to a team such as that. Before, it was very obvious that the Eastern Conference was a very much a weaker conference, and still do believe the fact it is weaker than the Western Conference at this moment. But as we're definitely seeing, we're seeing more top teams, which is really good to see in the Eastern Conference, and I'm really looking forward to seeing these teams as far as the playoffs and how it really shapes out as the year moves on. But guys, tell me what your guys' thoughts are. Where do you think Kevin Durant is going to end up by next year? And if you enjoyed the video, make sure that you leave a like and subscribe to become part of the Greek Army today. And as always, this is Sparta.